Alright, I've had a couple people ask me how I made the Evil Dead chainsaw, and so I thought I'd put a video together, try and show you as best as possible. Unfortunately, I don't have the chainsaw in its original form to show you every step of the way, but hopefully this gets you a good enough idea to get close enough, at least. Ignore that. That was from Junk Shenanigans. So let's get into it. This is one of those Party City chainsaws. It's the animated one. I have it kind of apart right now, but you can see, like, makes noise, chain spins. I even think it lights up. That's pretty much the extent of it, though. I wish you could actually have more dynamic control over it, but you get what you get. And when you first get it, obviously it's going to be a different color. That's just preference, but it's going to have the handle and this thing. I bent this. This whole configuration is set up for me. I know Ash has it on his right hand. I'm right-handed, so I had to put it on my left. So I tried to make everything as much, I think, in the movie or whatever. It's not going to be accurate. Just calm down. Anyway, right, the handle back here. When you take apart the chainsaw, I believe all the screws are on this side. So you're just going to take that apart. I don't think there's any on the bottom except for like the battery tray or whatever. I don't think I had to. I don't remember ever taking apart the blade. But either way, I'm gonna try and disassemble it and show you guys because I'm committed to the shit. Yeah, when you take it apart, the chainsaw is gonna split in half, and I'll show you that in a second. And the handle will also split in half. And inside the handle is gonna just be that little button. Thankfully, the wires are super long. They come all the way from the board to the handle. You don't have to cut anything. You don't have to solder or crimp anything. You're just gonna move the wire inside with the switch, and I'll show you how that happens. The handle will leave some holes when you take it out, but nobody's gonna pay attention to that. Don't worry about it. The hardest part for anybody that doesn't have any kind of tools, I had a Dremel. You can go pick one up from Harbor Freight for like 10 bucks. Comes with blades and everything. Just some kind of little rotary cutting tool, super simple. The hardest part is cutting this because you have to get the diameter right. Everybody's hand is gonna fit differently as well. I got this is PVC pipe. I got this to what fit to my hand. You know, I think this is like 2.5 or 3, and even then it's kind of a squeeze for me. But you know, if you get a bigger one, you get a bigger one, and you just have to trim it a little more. It's not a perfect science. Just line it up, cut it, and you can glue it if it doesn't fit right, you know? Something like that. I don't know. So you fully committed to the chainsaw and you've taken it apart. Good job. I really suck at making tutorial videos. Sorry for that in advance. When you take it apart, you're already here, I'm assuming. It's gonna kind of look like this, minus this. Ignore that. Ignore that. Don't touch that. Just don't touch any of that. You don't need it. All you need to do is worry about these two wires and this switch that was in the handle right here. This is just PVC pipe, hot glued. I have it on this side. If you're gonna put it on your right hand, you might have it on this side. It felt more comfortable with my left hand to put it on this side, you know, but that's preference. I believe there's more than enough room in here on either side. This side is actually the skinnier side, and it fit just fine. So, you know, this side is thickums. You have room over here, all right? Anyway, you take a drill with a drill bit. Just use the like one of the fatter drill bits. Drill a hole in the PVC pipe, and then you can shove your little switchy in there, and then run the wires out. You know, just try to make sure that you don't mess up the connections in there. I could have, you know, been super aggro about it and ran the wires up through there, and I was in a rush. I had like 3 days to make this. Anyway, ugly glue, switch in, tape is for grip, and then, yeah, like I said, you just leave everything else alone. And that's that. That's the whole mechanism of that. Nothing special at all. It's literally just a piece of crudely cut PVC with some extra grippy electrical tape and a lot of nasty hot glue. That's it. You're done with that part. We'll get to the next part next. Excuse me. Alright, so you relocated the switch. This hole isn't here yet. This, honestly, for this stuff, you're just gonna have to take a walk down the aisle of your favorite hardware store. Go to the plumbing aisle. They're gonna have a lot of different PVC options. This one was like some kind of coupling, and I also crudely cut that with a Dremel. You can still use the Dremel. This is all Dremel and drill and a screwdriver. That's it, and a lot of spray paint. So I don't want to hear anybody say they can't do it, because you can. And these parts, honestly, this and that little handle inside are the most integral parts of the build. Everything else, all this came with the chainsaw. That's just, I bent it. This is just for, you know, looks. This is for looks. This is just a piece of scrap metal I had lying around. I don't even think it's movie accurate. This is a piece of PVC cut slightly in half to look like a wood handle. Ugly, but you know what? It works, and it's kind of fun to make it ugly. Anyway, go find some kind of coupling. It's preferred if it has a lip. It's a little more awkward to work with, but when you have the lip, now you can either do it. Oh, why didn't I just think about doing that? You can either do something like this, where you just cut a hole big enough to fit your hand, and you glue the shit out of that. What I did was I had this lip, and I cut the hole to the diameter of, not the lip, words are hard. And then what I do is I split it open and rest this inside, and then you see how that works? Yeah, and you screw it back together and it holds, and that way it felt a little more secure to do it that way. And then this thing, here you can see it, whatever that is. I'm not a plumber. I don't know what that means, except for maybe the 3 inches, whatever. That slides on there. That gives it a little more like ooh ah, but it's also a lot more comfortable than just having your whole chainsaw weight rest on your wrist with hard plastic. I mean, it's still going to be there, but this will take up some of the brunt of that weight too. You can even maybe stick some padding in there. I tried, it came apart when you sweat. It's gross. Yeah, so that's that. You screw it back together and you're pretty much done, and then you're just going on to decorate it. Alright, now you got your chainsaw back together, I hope. Obviously I can't show you cutting the hole. You can figure it out, but you would have already cut the hole for the coupling to be there, obviously. The easiest thing to do once you've removed the handle, before you take it apart to move the switch and all that, just take your coupling, trace it out, and then cut it. That way you're not doing the dumb thing like I did, where I took it all apart, moved the switch and all that, put it back together, cut it, took it apart again, put the coupling in, put it back together again. You get what I'm saying. Just cut it first and then do whatever. But you know, if you followed the order of the videos, you probably took it apart first. Now you're upset with me. I'm sorry. I told you I suck at this. But like I said, that coupling with the lip, you see how secure that is? Yeah, it's secure. Everything else is just decor. Now this is gonna be a fixed piece. I tried to take it a step further and make it like a little boo. It sucks. Don't do that. It's a waste of time. Nobody's gonna knock points off your costume or your cosplay if you don't have a fully automated replica, blah, blah, whatever the words are. I mean, you can. If somebody does a better version than that, I mean, there's a lot of people that will do a better version than this, but if you can, hit me up, because I would like to, you know, refurbish this at some point and make it better. Yeah, I just put one of those little keychain things that in here, but it doesn't really, it's not strong enough. Anyway, I'm rambling. Next, you're just gonna paint it. Just grab some spray paint it and scuff it up a little bit while the paint's wet, you know, just If you want like super cool details, you're gonna have to look up some other tutorials because I'm not that guy. But what you can do, what I found works, is if you want to hit it with like a base layer of silver or even gray, just block out all those nasty Party City, Spirit Halloween, whatever colors they used, just looks ridiculous. You know, base layer, let it dry. I didn't use a bright red. I used like a darker crimson red. There's a lot of options out there. You go for it. And then I spray painted that, and I just took like a bunched up napkin and went all over the place, you know. And then for these splatters, it's gonna have some like really shitty looking, excuse my language for if there's a younger audience watching this, it's gonna look crappy, you know. It's gonna have paint like this for the blood, which ends up looking purple and whatever. The same paint I use for this is the same paint I use for this, and all I did for this was I did try to use fake blood. Didn't work. So what I did was I spray painted into the spray paint cap and let it build up, and then I just splashed it, you know, all over. If you want the details, you're gonna want to splash on the front because you're cutting somebody up with a chainsaw. No, not somebody. You're cutting a deadite up with a chainsaw. It's gonna splatter. So yeah, and then you can just also smear and do that stuff. But, I mean, it's pretty durable, except for the freaking tip of the blade that broke off when we were sword fighting with a chainsaw. Anyway, that's the detailing. Everything else, ignore that. Get in there. Is aesthetics. Oh, this is part of the chainsaw. It comes with it. When you get it, it's gonna kind of look like that. This is gonna be more bent that way. You get what I did, right? And there's like this little push pin that goes, and this is the pin, and you just push it through that way, right? You can take it out. Like I said, I had to tailor. Realistically, you would want the handle to come from the bottom if you're going for movie accurate, but there's this big gaping hole here, and it was convenient, and I didn't want to make another hole down there, and that's a lot of fabricating, and I didn't have time. Stop judging me. Anyway, you take that pin out, you can do whatever you want with that. You can just take the whole thing out altogether if you want. I thought it'd be nice to have like a little extra handle on this side. This is tailored. Actually, it doesn't really make sense if this is all the blade is all the way over here. Well, I don't know. I only have electric chainsaws. It's always in the middle. I guess with the gas one, the motor's got to be over here. The blade would be. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Anyway, do whatever you want with that. Like I said, the rest of the detailing is up to you guys with whatever little schmoozy boozies you want to do. This, like I said, this coupler made it a lot more comfortable, and it just looks better. For the accents, you know, I just got like some little bits like this. All of it's at Home Depot. You don't even need to cut it. You can just bend it like you used to do with the paper clips. You know, bend it back and forth till it gets hot, and then it just kind of falls apart. Maybe get something to say. If you bought that Dremel, you should have a little sander bit on it. Sand it down so you don't cut yourself. You can just stick that like that. You know, whatever. This is probably the ugliest thing, and it was very last second, and like I said, I just had some scrap metal laying around, and I was like, oh, you know what would be cool? If I had a handle to hold it from the top. Hot glue does not hold that in there. I used the existing hole from that handle and tried to make that work, and I cut my own little nasty hole here. It looks cool, but it falls out. Alright, so anyway, yeah, now you got yourself a chainsaw hand thing. You know, like I said, it's not going to be movie accurate. That costs a lot of money. This was probably, you know, already not, I don't want to say expensive, but I was on a budget. This was like $40, maybe $30. The chainsaw, all the little bits, like these little couplings and all that crap, and the piece of PVC. This, I think this is actually all the same piece. So yeah, like I said, you get one of these and you can make a anyway, Between the chainsaw itself, which was like probably $35 with tax, the couplings, the paint, and the little extra bits, I probably spent, what did I say the chainsaw was 35? I probably spent 45 bucks to make this. Let's call it 50 just on a good day. Don't forget your hose clamps. Do not forget the hose clamp, at least for this part. Alright, now you got a chainsaw. Yeah.